I had some doodle buggers set up out in the channel on possible drilling sites.
Doodle buggers?
Seismic detectors. I've been measuring the activity out there for a couple of months now. Here, take a look.
Yeah, there has been things moving around out there. Could be earthquake swarm activity.
Yeah, and then it just stopped. Look, just a couple days ago.
I don't like the looks of that.
Neither do I. And the kicker is, I'd be willing to bet that there's oil on those sites. Lots of it, maybe hundreds of thousands of barrels.
You sure?
No, but check out the core samples.
Cruz, this could be the richest oil field in the channel. Where'd you take those samples?
Near the fault line around McAllister Ridge. I've had a hunch about that area for a while.
The rock formations show a lot of stress. I wonder if the swarm activity released any of it.
I wish I knew, Mr. C.
Make sure our rigs are secure.
Yeah, I tested the automatic emergency turnoff valves, and they all work. Even went so far as to check out the leak detection system on the main pipeline. So I'm reasonably sure that the pumps would shut down if there was any big change in the pressure.
But you're worried. Why?
I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting. I'm certainly no geologist.
Well, it's possible your doodle buggers made a mistake and there wasn't any swarm activity.
Yeah, it's possible. But I gotta tell you, I checked out those seismometers before and after we laid them down. So I do believe the readings. Frankly, I think we're going to have an earthquake.
Maybe we better stop exploration for a few days.
Yeah, I thought of that too. First, I want to talk to a guy I know who's head of the seismology lab down at the university. At least he can verify what I've got.
Let me know what you find out.
Sure thing.
And remember that whatever you find out, all the scientists in the world haven't been able to predict exactly when the earthquake is going to come.
Yeah, and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. This is Castillo. Get me the exploration team, preferably Friedman, on the ship to shore. I know we're having a tremor. Just do it. Clyde, this is Cruz. You boys just get bounced around a little out there? How big are the swells? You got seismic reading for me? I can't hear you. Well, that's not as bad as it felt, is it? Look, it could mean there's something bigger on the way. I want you to drop a depth charge on the McAllister Formation, get me a reading what's happening in the bedrock. No, tell him not to panic. This isn't the big one. Okay, I need it as soon as possible. I got a guy from the university coming over here to tell me what it's all about. Okay, great. Give my regards to Tommy John. Later. John, thanks for stopping by, man.
Oh, my pleasure, Cruz. Been a while.
It sure has. Can I get you anything? You want some coffee or something?
Oh, no, thanks. I don't have much time. See, the press will be out of my lab soon, wanting to know all about that tremor we had today. Now, let's see what you got here.
Well, from the seismic readings we've been getting, looks like we had a lot of pressure building up in the McAllister Formation.
Now, that little shaker might have relieved some of it.
What did it register?
4.2 on the Richter. Huh. See, you got the same reading. You must have some pretty sensitive seismometers out there in the channel.
We have very good equipment.
You even picked up the swarming activity.
What do you think? Are we out of danger?
Well, every quake relieves some pressure. The bigger it is, the more pressure is released.
But
this one could just be the peak of the swarm activity. Could be what I think of as a precursor.
there could be a bigger one coming.
Well, take a look at these charts. This is a record of the quake activity along the California Fault since 1935.
Wow. You're going to have to tell me what I'm looking for here, John.
Right. Okay, if you'll just take a look at these irregularities, you'll see there's no clear-cut rule. I mean, sometimes a little one indicates a bigger quake's on the way. Sometimes the bigger one doesn't come for years.
In other words, it's impossible to predict with any accuracy.
Right. But there are several faults along the length of California that could go in the next couple of years, or maybe not till the turn of the century.
Or any day now, for that matter.
Yeah, maybe. One thing we can predict, within the next decade, there's one chance in 20 we're going to have a big one. I mean, one that'll register 8 on the Richter scale or more.
Within the next decade. Which means, of course, it could be tomorrow.
Sure.
Okay, this is the latest batch. Take a look at these.
You've been busy.
Yeah, I had my guys drop a depth charge on the McAllister Formation. Now, this is the reading we got at 12,600 feet.
I see. Doesn't look any better, does it?
Well, from what I can tell, that tremor didn't relieve any pressure at all.
If anything, the pressure's continuing to mount.
Indicating what?
Well, indicating, Cruz, that sooner or later it has to be released, right?
I guess so.
I'd say more specifically, there'll be a major quake somewhere in California.
Could you say where?
Well, the experts are varied in their opinion about that. I mean, the fault is several hundred miles long. My guess, Southern California, not Northern.
When's it going to happen, John?
$64,000 question. Wish I knew. Any ground vibrations whatsoever are translated into displacements along the line, and you can see the exact instant at which it begins.
Yeah. Excuse me, which quake is that? Is that the San Francisco?
Oh, no, that's 1925 Santa Barbara.
Oh, yeah. People still talk about that one.
The Arling Hotel, scrunched up like tinfoil. And it was one of the sturdiest buildings in town. It was $5 million in property damage. That was 1925. I don't know how much that translates into today.
I forget, John. Were people hurt?
Lots. 12 killed. Railroad tracks were crumbled up, tossed aside like gum wrappers.
It could happen again, couldn't it?
I know.
Don't you think we should be warning somebody? Letting people know?
What do you want to do, evacuate everybody to L.A.? Center could be in L.A. Maybe you think they should go to Palm Springs or San Diego. The epicenter could be either place. I mean, who goes and where?
I don't know.
Cruz, everybody in California knows this thing's going to happen. And everybody's hoping it'll hit some town other than their own.
Yeah. All dressed up with no place to go?
Hardly.
All dressed up with some place to go.
You got it.
And someone to go with?
You here on business or just hanging out?
Actually, I'm here to talk to your daddy.
Just hanging out.
Well, I guess if warning him about the possible loss of several major offshore oil rigs is hanging out, then that's what I'm doing.
Guess you don't do anything that's not urgently important or of world import, do you, Cruz?
Not if I can avoid it.
You want something to drink? Or not during business hours?
I could stand a bourbon.
You got it. Box?
Neat, please.
Oh, that's right. I remember. So, did you pay a lot of money to get that look you have on?
Not as much as you did, but then I'm not as desperate.
Oh, touche.
Where are you going?
Out.
Don't you think you've said too much?
Maybe I have. You know, you really ought to clean up your act, Cruz.
Think so?
No, so.
What should I do?
Oh. Get out a double dealing for one.
That's not how you really feel.
Yes, it is.
I don't think so. That's how you think you ought to feel.
You're wrong.
Doubt it. You were protesting the whole time we were on the Orient Express together. But deep inside, you were really enjoying every minute of it, weren't you?
Actually, I seem to have a memory lapse about that trip.
How convenient.
Yes, it is.
Cruz, I apologize. I was on an overseas phone call.
That's okay, Mr. C. Your lovely daughter has been entertaining me.
Good. Is there a problem?
No real problem yet. I think we need to see to it that we avoid one. I'm asking for an immediate upgrading of the shutoff valves on each of the rigs.
You feel we need the latest of everything?
I think right now we do. It'll afford us much better security in case of an emergency.
I assume that you've had a discussion with your university professor?
Yes, I have.
And did he verify the seismological data that you've collected?
He said, and I quote, "The chances of California experiencing a major earthquake in the next decade are 1 in 20. But I think in his heart, he's as scared of this new data as I am."
Well, upgrading that much equipment is an enormous undertaking. But I think that your concern about the possibility of an earthquake justifies it.
Daddy, don't listen to him. Bruce is panicking.